Are you conscious of your addiction? Refuse to be defined by it? Not satisfied with living your life on the surface? Are you drawn to deeper meaning and purpose? And believe that it's possible to grow through your addiction to experience true freedom? Well, welcome home. Share the journey from addiction to freedom with your host, Michael Gregory.
Well, it's been quite a while since I did one of these kind of more personal episodes, but welcome back to Addiction to Freedom. And I guess I wanted to kind of give a bit of an update as to the journey I've been on, I suppose. So I left Australia back in October and came to the UK. And the reason for that was a couple of things: to expand the stop smoking service that I've been running in Australia for 10 years. And that's obviously where my interest in addiction came from. And also to connect up with someone very special that I'd met and kind of explore that relationship. And that's going really, really well. And in the process, I decided to basically try and simplify everything. So I sold everything in Australia. I decided not to store anything except from just a few personal items and a couple of surfboards. But essentially, there's nothing left there. And I actually brought my van over. So this is the van. And so I spend most of my time each week in the van. And for example, I'll just show you here. For those of you on audio, I'm showing you out the door of a nice green field, some trees around. Yeah, and the reason why I haven't made one of these episodes is because I started to feel a little inauthentic. I realised that I was kind of posting the positive things. I guess I found myself falling into the Instagram trap, I suppose, that's, if you want to call it that, social media trap of just presenting a particular positive side of things. And I didn't feel comfortable with that. I didn't really realise that was my problem at the time. I think the last episode I did was part 1, exploring what freedom is. And part 2 really stumped me because it took me a while to realise that I don't really know what freedom is. And I'm on a journey to find that. And so this is, in a way, where I've landed. Part of that is realising that I have a lot of addictions and that I need to go through this journey personally. I'm not talking about hardcore addictions. I would say that I'm a functional addict. Some might disagree, but I think most people are functional addicts. For example, just a very obvious one, I think I have an addiction to Netflix. I think I have an addiction to alcohol. And admittedly, I don't drink every day, but there are periods where I have, and I'm working on that. I'm observing that. And I've got an addiction to thinking, an addiction to doing, and I think I have an addiction to surfing. And obviously some of these things are positive, but what I'm really concerned about, I suppose, is when these automatic behaviours have a detrimental effect on my life. And I think that is obviously the opposite of freedom. If you continue to do something that's having a negative effect and you can't stop that, well, that's obviously not freedom, is it? So I've decided that I'm going to pursue authenticity. Obviously, I'm admitting I'm not authentic, and I'm going to tackle all of these addictions. I already have started that. It's April. So I've been on this journey for quite a while now. And in the next few episodes that I do, I'm going to kind of break down some of the things that I've some of the things that I've been tackling. One, for example, when I first arrived here in the UK, it was winter, and I was used to a really nice sunny environment, fairly almost leisurely routine. Get up in the morning, have a coffee, go for a surf, come back, work. Everything was really work from home, and everything was really fairly smooth. I came here, it was winter, I couldn't surf, didn't have a car, and I just had one blockage after another. I mean, for example, I thought I'd be able to borrow my girlfriend's car, but then we couldn't get insurance because I had an international license. And I went down on the second day to get a phone account from Vodafone. Even though I've been a Vodafone customer in Australia for 10 years, they couldn't give me one because I failed on the credit check. And I thought, that's strange. I've got an excellent credit check. And then there was funnily enough, they actually told me to lie, to say that I was in the country for more than 2 years. And I was kind of tempted to do that. But then I was walking away and I thought, I just don't feel comfortable doing that. It's not what I stand for. So, and luckily, because I didn't do that so-called easy option, I discovered that I didn't have a credit rating. It didn't exist financially in the country. And so a lot of things were closed to me. So, and luckily I did discover that, because then I went about registering and building that credit record. But, I'd log into my subscriptions like Netflix, for example, from Australia, and I'd choose a movie after quite a while choosing, and then it wouldn't play because of geographic restrictions. So these are just some of the blockages, and I thought I was really go with the flow. I thought I could really, but what I found is just these one after another of these, I guess, roadblocks that I didn't expect caused me to build up this kind of melancholy, I suppose. And it took me a while to realize, I mean, there was a lot more of, and you wouldn't maybe have noticed it from the outside. Those people close to me I've talked to, I would have told, but on the outside, I probably would have seemed quite normal. But for me, I was starting, without realizing it, starting to get a bit down. And obviously that's not freedom either, is it? And the big breakthrough came with something really obvious. I realized that I was allowing the external environment to be the condition for my happiness. I realized I was allowing the external events, which didn't go to my conceptual expectation, to dictate how I felt. And it wasn't until I decided that, I already knew conceptually that's the external environment doesn't create happiness. Happiness comes from inside. I mean, you can be on holiday in the most beautiful environment, everything that you could possibly want, and be deeply unhappy for whatever circumstance might have happened. Somebody might have died, or you might have broken up with someone, or for whatever reason, you might have had some bad news, or many, many reasons why you might be unhappy in a beautiful external environment. And on the other hand, you can be in a really awful, maybe not awful, but, just a fairly stressful, perhaps place, chaotic place, maybe, fairly with very little resources, and you might be having the most amazing moments of beauty and freedom and peace and love. So I already, conceptually knew and have had experienced that deep, real happiness is an internal experience. Yet here I was, found myself waking up, finding myself in the same old habit pattern of allowing the external to dictate my experience. And it wasn't until then that I realised what was happening, and I just decided to stop. Because there's obviously there's a temptation when you have these feelings inside to keep on doing things, to fix things, to make things better on the outside. But it wasn't until I decided to stop that I found things became so much easier. And so that's one of the things that I'd like to talk about more in detail. But I think that's just such a key insight, that so much of our life, or my life, let's say, has been, if I look back on it, allowing the external circumstances to be the condition for my happiness. When this happens, I will be so happy. I wish that didn't happen. And it even comes down to day by day, minute by minute, and your mind dwelling on strategically trying to manufacture this external perfect environment. And I have to say that I'm feeling so much more content. Nothing's really changed that much on the outside. Although, yeah, some of those initial blockages of getting established in a new country have gone away, but there's lots of other things happening. But I'm on a road to internal happiness and freedom. And I just thought I'd kind of share that. That might, feeling like that's something that I'd like to share, the journey of that. And that encourages anyone else along the way. Fantastic. So I look forward to unpacking a few more things in the next few episodes. All right, take care. See you later. Bye.